Hello and welcome back to Crafty Turn Crafters. Today we're going to do page 3 of our Guinevere memory book. The other pages 2, 4, 5 and 7 are all the same, so I'll do those at the end. So we're going to start with a new blank page. So these are the pages we made last time, and we've put the arrows on. So we're going to need one of those today, and we're going to make sure we do it the right way up. The next thing we need is a piece of card at 7.5 by 6 5/8. So 7.5 by 6 5/8. We're then going to put it portrait, and we're going to score 1/2 inch. So it will then become 7.5 by 6 1/8. So 7.5 by 6 1/8 is our working space. We're then going to cut 2 pieces of card at 4.5 by 6 1/8. So 6 1/8 by 4.5. And again, we're going to put those portrait onto our scoreboard, and we're going to score at 3/8 inch and 1/2 inch. So 3/8 inch and 1/2 inch. So that's going to give us a working space of 6 1/8 by 4. So 6 1/8 by 4 is our working space. And the reason we want the 2 is so that we're going to create a tiny little spine. So now we've got our working space and our spine, and we're going to work on these 2 pieces first. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold along those 2 lines. Now we've used 290 GSM, so we're going to fold the first line first and then bring in the second line. And we're just going to do it very gently. So we're going to fold, fold, just very gently. And then with our finger underneath, we're just going to bring that second fold in. Keeping your finger underneath, that's going to give you the ability to fold that second fold. So roll it and get it into place, and that's going to create your little tiny spine or gusset if you prefer. So we're just going to do that, and then when we're happy that we've got it into the right place, we're just going to pinch and squeeze, and then we're going to burnish it. So let me find my burnishing tool, and we're going to burnish along there. And then this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because you're now going to roll it onto its second fold, and it is a little bit tricky. So we're going to just keep rolling, 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 and get that second fold pinched. Second fold pinched into place, and then just take your time over it. And then when you are happy, you're going to have a go at burnishing that second fold. So we'll pinch it into place, and then we'll burnish that second fold. So then you will have to maneuver it back because you've burnished over that first fold, but there's nothing you can do about that. But what you'll end up with is that little tiny ridge. So now we're going to do exactly the same on the other part. So that's got those 2 side pieces ready to go. Now in the original one, I did a wavy line there. I'm not going to do this time because not everybody's got those dies. So this time instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to round the corners. So I'm just going to go into there and there and there and there. So now I want the pieces of paper that I've cut ready to use. If I can find them, oh, it's such a mess. Ah, here they are on the other side. So we've got 4 pieces of paper and they are each 3.5 by 5 7/8. And when you cut them, just make sure you know which direction you're going in. So your 5 7/8 is your long edge. And we're just going to cut the corners of these, but we need to make sure that we cut the correct corners. So I'm just going to go around those corners and I can see that they fit in the right place. And then I'm just going to go round that edge like that, all the way round. And then that one is ready to go on, like that. I could put a photo slot in there if I choose to. I'm just going to leave it blank, but you could put photo slots in there. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side, and then I'm going to turn them over and do the same thing again. And now they are already matched up and ready to go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my centering tool. This is because this is where I want to put my hole in. So I just need the right tool. So I'm going for 5 7/8. And this time I'm going to take it off the hook. If you take it off the hook, make sure you put it straight back on, because as you can see, it's clear. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my alignment tools out. So these are the Corkat alignment tools, and I'm going to take the 1/2 inch one. Yeah, I'm going to do the 1/2 inch one. So I'm going to line this up with the edge of the paper like so, and that's going to give me a 1/2 inch border. So I'm then going to find my centering tool, just looking for, and then I'm going to put a little mark in there at the center, and then I know that that is exactly 1/2 inch, and then I can do exactly the same thing on this side. Put my 1/2 inch tool in, find my, there it is, that's why you put them back, because you do lose it. Find my centering tool, slide my 1/2 inch out of the way when I know it's lined up properly, and then put a little mark in the notch. Okay, so those two now should line up exactly for when I put the holes in. So I'm going to put this straight back onto here before I lose it, and just clip that up and put it out the way. And now I want my hole punch. So my hole punch, I'm going to use the bigger hole, and I'm going to line that mark I made right in the middle of the hole and punch my hole. And then I'm going to do the same with the other one. Punch my hole like that. And now they should line up. Stuff out the way. They should now line up nicely. And I'm going to use my Corkat's ring reinforcements. So I've cut these out. And the good thing about Corkat's is they give you 6 at a time. So they're crafters, they know what they're doing, and they know you don't want to cut out 6 separate ones. So I'm going to go around the edge of each of these, and then I'm going to stick them onto the black rings. Now I've got my 4 rings complete, and I'm now going to stick one of these around the holes, both front and back. One there, whoops, that's it, and one here. And this will just make sure that the holes are secure and less likely to tear. So one there, turn them over and do the same on the back. All the way around there, that onto there, and lastly that one on there, and I'm going to put that onto there. And that is those finished for the time being. So everything should line up nicely. So I'm going to put those to one side. Okay, so now I'm going to do the top down flap. And so I'm going back to this piece here. And as I've done before, so we've said that it is 7.5 by 6 5/8. And I've done portrait and done my 1/2 inch score line there. So 7.5 by 6 5/8 with a score line on the portrait at 1/2 inch, so that my working space is 7.5 by 6 1/8. So I'm now going to fold this down all the way along here, and I'm just going to burnish that. The more you burnish it, the flatter it will lay. Burnish the other side as well. Give it another burnish. You really want this to lie quite flat. You can never burnish too much. Right, so now I want one of my pieces of paper. I've cut 3 pieces of paper at 7 3/8 by 5 7/8. And I'm going to take one of those pieces. So this is what it looks like before I cut it up. So it is 7 3/8 by 5 7/8. And then I'm going to take one of those pieces, start with this one. So originally, this was the same size, 7 3/8 by 5 7/8. And then I've cut a piece off the end, and I've cut it off at 2, and no, I haven't. I've cut it off at 1 3/4, and I'm going to mount that. So I've taken 1 3/4 from the right hand side, and then I've got a piece of card at 2 inches by 6 1/8, and that will fit nice and neatly onto there. So that is 2 inches by 1 3/4, and I'm just going to go round the edge of this, all the way around the edge, and then I'm going to stick that onto that piece of card. That. All the way around, and stick that on. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now I could have that the same pattern, or, which I think I'm going to do, quite like it with the other side. So yeah, I think that's the way I'm going to do it. It just gives it a nice contrast. I'm just going to go around the edges here, all the way round, all the way round, and then that is going to get stuck on first. And then that's going to go over the top, and it just looks nice like that. It's very hard when you like both sides of some graphic 45 paper, but I'm going to go with the opposite just to bring the changes a little bit. That's going to go onto there. That bit of a smooth down, and then thumb where you don't want the glue to be, bit of glue on the 3 sides, and then this is going to form your pocket, like so. Okay, so that is now a nice pocket. So now I'm going to turn it over, and don't forget, when you've got a top-down flap, you're going to work upside down on the other side. So I've got my other pieces of paper. So this is my third piece of paper at 7 3/8 by 5 7/8. So this time I've taken 2 3/4 off the right hand side. So I've just changed the sizes a little bit, and then the other piece is going to form the flat base. So this is going to go onto here, and this piece of card is 3 by 6 1/8. Again, I'm wondering whether to, yeah, I think I like that reverse just for the pocket side of it. So I'm going to have the reverse on the pocket side. Just go around the edges again. So all the way around, and that just covers up all the white, all the way around. And then I'm going to stick that onto there. Sometimes feel really bad putting glue all over these lovely designs. That's going to go onto there, straight, and then this piece I'm going to go around the edges of, and then put that piece straight on, all the way round, all the way round, and then that's going to go onto there. Glue around the edges. Never put your glue right up to the edges, otherwise it squelches out. That goes on there. Thumb on the bit that you don't want the glue, all the way around those 3 edges. Oh, a bit more there. And then that's going to go onto there. Now what you need to be careful is that your glue flap will still fold. So you may find that it's slightly too long. So I'm going to get my trimming scissors, these are sharp scissors, and I go in at a slight angle. So I'm going in at an angle, just going over that lumpy bit there, and just take that off. If you go at an angle, it will go smoothly. Okay, so that's your main top flap done. So you could put a photo slot there if you wanted to, or a second pocket. That's completely up to you. I'm going to leave it as it is. So I'm now going to stick this onto that page with the arrow facing up. So that's going to go at the top, but because I want the 2 at the side as well, I'm going to cut these at quite a steep angle. So I'm taking off quite an angle on these. The other side as well. Taking off quite an angle, and then I'm going to put my glue along here, all the way along, all the way along, and then making sure I line it up absolutely with the edges, and that the arrow is facing up, and then I can just run my fingers along those edges. I can feel that's not quite there, so I'm just going to move it slightly. I want it absolutely on the edge, and just press it down, and then very carefully hold the glued bit in place, because sometimes it slips, until you've had the chance to burnish it. There we go. Just get that extra glue off. So these are your 2 side pieces. Now, because you don't want a bulk in that corner, again, I'm going to cut the top of these at quite a wide angle. And then the other one is normal, just take a little bit off. And then I'm just going to give that a fold. And I'm going to put some glue along there, like that, all the way along. Let's get the glue, because remember, this, you've got a little spine on this, so you don't want to press it down onto the spine. You're only putting glue on the 3/8, and you want to keep that spine, that little gusset, in place. So don't press it down too hard, otherwise you'll lose the gusset. So I'm just going to go in there. Give that a really good push down, but I've kept, you can see, I've kept that little gusset, and that will just mean that the bottom flap will fit neatly. Okay, let's give that one more press, and then I'm going to do the same with the other side. Find it, there it is. So again, at the top, I'm going to cut a steeper triangle, a bit more. I don't want any bulk at the edges, and then just a normal little bit on the other end. And then, so you can see there's that gap. So I'm just going to put some glue onto this, like so. And then this one's going to go on this side. So same thing, you're only gluing 3/8. You need to keep that little tiny spine away from the glue. Get it lined up, use your fingers to feel, hold it in place, make sure it's lined, and then burnish it down. Making sure, just keep feeling, it should be level, and then burnish that down. Make sure it's really burnished down flat. So now you put the top flap down, and the others will fit neatly over it and will fold flat because you've got that little gusset there holding it all in place. Okay, so make sure there's no glue in those pocket bits that are going to fit on to the spine, because you don't want them being glued down. So I'm now going to get a little bit of ribbon, and I'm going to cut off the length of ribbon, and that's going to go through that hole. And before I finish it off, this last piece of paper at 7 3/8 by 5 7/8 will go over the top, cover up all those spines, and I will actually put a photo slot in there. I won't do it now because you've seen me put photo slots in before, but that will actually be a photo slot in there. So once all that is done and the photo slot is in place, then everything will just come together, and I will put a nice sharp point that will go through there, and then you can just tie it neatly together. So you might find that they're going to be too long, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. So I'll just tie these up. Always better to have more rather than less ribbon. Do that, and then we can just play around with that. Don't have them too tight on the reinforcers. That and that. And there we are. That's that page complete. I will complete the last piece inside, but aside from that, that is that page complete and ready to go. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you aren't already subscribed, please do. I only need 3 more to get to my first 1,000. So I will do the next piece next time. Thank you for watching.